In this video, I'm going to uncover the 28 rules of being a pro athlete, and this will help you understand the inner workings of a pro mindset and how you can use it to get ahead of the competition. If you're new here, you're new to my channel, my name is Evan Mendoza. I have 7 years of professional baseball experience under my belt between the St. Louis Cardinals and San Diego Padres. I played 3 years at a D1 baseball program in the ACC at NC State University, and that's me hitting a walk-off against Duke, one of the best moments of my entire college career. I also studied aerospace engineering, and I was also on varsity all 4 years of my high school baseball career. So I'm here to share all of that knowledge with you. And I'm quite literally that baseball guy who talks mentality, development, and even recruiting. I also founded my own online academy, the Mendoza Baseball Academy, where I help high school baseball players bridge the gap into college. Now, if you're a high school baseball player who is currently on varsity, I'll have some instructions for you at the end of this video. Make sure to just watch this full video. If you're a parent or a player who's not currently in high school, just keep watching all my content. You'll get a ton of free value on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and even listen to my podcast, The Angle. Now, let's get into the video. Be early, which is on time, guys. This is probably one of the most important things if you are a student athlete, especially when you're in college. You start to learn the very, very key skill of just making sure, of course, time management, but really just being prompt to events, to practice, to lifting sessions. It doesn't matter what it is, you have to follow the schedule to a T. And if you can't do that, trust me, you will be weeded out. If you're a high school baseball player and you can't make it to practice on time, guys, I'll never forget, there was a rule at my high school, Sarasota High School, where every minute you were late, you quite literally had to run a lap around the entire field. So there would be some guys that were late by like 2 hours, and they would be running, no joke, for like the entire day. So being early, which is on time, guys, 15 minutes early is on time in the world of sports, and if you're a student athlete. Always give yourself a little bit of a cushion. It doesn't matter where you're really trying to go. So 15 minutes is on time. Optional means required, guys. This is a big one because I remember in high school, truly, guys, this was like, it was an ongoing inside joke, all right? So my high school program had a very high expectation that we understood that there was no such thing as optional, all right? So this also carried over into college as well. You're always trying to improve, all right? So that's actually number 3, but this inside joke carried on in college at NC State. If anything was optional, it really meant that it was mandatory and you were expected to actually be there. This happened a ton, guys. And the more you understand is the way that, you know, professional athletes really think about things, that will just you'll understand the separators in the mind, in how diligent they are to actually do that work that's required. All right. So rule number 3, always improve. All right. Always be looking for ways to improve your skills and your knowledge. Do not ever be content with where you're currently at, and definitely do not settle in your performance, in your academics, in anything, guys. If you are a person who settles, you're going to have a tough time constantly improving in the game of baseball, and you never truly have the game figured out. Even in professional baseball, I've played baseball for a long time of my life. I truly haven't ever figured out the game of baseball. There might be 1 or 2 games or maybe a couple of weeks go by that I feel like I have it figured out, but guys, trust me, the game will even out, all right? There will be ups and there will be downs, all right? So don't settle for where you're at today. Always strive for more. Rule number 4, let's all stay disciplined in the work that we set out for ourselves. And this can be very true on really the first thing that you do every single day. And something that I've been doing a lot of recently is I'm trying to run. And first thing in the morning, doing something that I hate doing, but I know will ultimately set up for the rest of my day. The reason for this was because when I was in Arizona rehabbing just about a year ago, when I was rehabbing my adductor when I was at the San Diego Padres, I cold plunged every single morning, and I hated doing it. I quite literally hated doing it. It was never fun, but it set up my day. I did that one challenging task, and then I was just ready to absolutely hit the day, all right? So consistency is key. Stick to your routines and practice with purpose. Now, step number 5, or rule number 5, focus on the fundamentals, guys. You will never meet a professional athlete or a professional in any field, whether it's a professional job. Let's say that you're in Fortune 500 or whatever, corporate world or whatever. If you have a master of something, trust me when I say this, they do the fundamentals every single day the right way. All right. And it's very important that you know that. Guys, the masters do the right things over and over and over and over again. All right. That is huge to understand. So never forget the fundamentals and master the basics, guys. In pro ball, we basically do these things called fundies just about every single day. And the fundies were the way of making sure that we were staying accountable for those small, basic team exercises or team activities such as bunt and D, cutoffs and relays. Those small little things make the biggest difference. So be coachable, guys. I don't think this one's a super complex topic, but always be open to feedback and willingness to learn from others, all right? So they are always trying to truly help you out, and coach's intent is always good, all right? Always understand that the coach's intent is good. Maybe the way that they deliver whatever that message is might be good or bad. It kind of just depends, but their intent is always good, all right? So believe when they actually say something, they're looking to actually help you. Their help might help or it might not help you, all right? Mental toughness, guys. Pro baseball players, pro athletes have to have mental toughness. So stay focused and positive even in the tough times. And baseball is a failure-driven game, guys. Get used to it. It's not going away anytime soon. You're probably going to fail 70% of the time, especially as you climb the ladder into high school and college, and then from college to pro ball. So make sure that you understand you will fail and get comfortable being in an uncomfortable position. This goes back to the discipline of doing something uncomfortable first thing in your day, whether it's running, cold tub, doesn't matter. Feel comfortable in failing. Feel comfortable in striking out. It's bound to happen. Get used to it. But don't tell yourself like that's okay. Always look for ways to improve, like we already mentioned, and then that way we can always be learning. As you can tell, a lot of these concepts revolve around another, and they play on one another. So next up, respect the game, and Derek Jeter was one of the best with this. Honor the traditions and the rules of baseball, right? So if you don't have the game has a way of policing you, basically. Especially at the higher levels in professional baseball, if you do something where it's showboaty or maybe you're pointing at the dugout after a home run and you do something like that, the other team has a way of acting like the police and quite literally plunking you with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball or the next batter, right? So let's say you hit a home run. In professional baseball, we are taught not to showboat too much because guess what? If that batter on deck gets plunked because of your actions, that is not going to mesh well inside the clubhouse, right? You have to take some ownership if you were the reason for that. And you never want to be the reason why your teammate is getting hurt or getting hit by a pitch, all right? So next up, team first. Put the team's success above your personal stats, guys. And P.S., when you are more focused on the team, you will play better, all right? So focus on winning. It is a team sport. Yes, your personal achievements will be important as far as your longevity of your career, but if you're focused more on the team, you will play better, all right? Lead by example. Your actions should inspire and guide others, whether you're a captain or not, guys. Just do the right thing. Other people, other players, whether it's a coach, whether it's a fan, whether it's a little kid in the stands, they're going to be looking up to you, especially if you're a varsity high school baseball player or a college baseball player or even a professional baseball player. These little kids look up to you. Do the right things and make sure that you're leading by example and set the standards. Study the game, guys. Study the game. Know the strategies, the history, the nuances of baseball. Play the name game. Do things that activate your baseball mind, all right? Understand the history, understand current events, understand the names of baseball players, guys. This is something that maybe it has changed, but to be honest with you, if you're a baseball player, you should know the rest of the baseball community because a lot of those guys will be coming up with you. And if you guys don't know what coming up means, it's basically like there were showcases that I went to in high school with guys that I came up with, right? I climbed the ladder with. I went up and down the mountain many, many different times with these same guys around. All right. It's always good to see a familiar face that you remember seeing what that individual looks like when they were 12, 13, 14 years old. It's pretty crazy. But 10 years, 15 years later, you both are still playing professional baseball at a very high level. It's a really cool feeling to be able to come up with people. So understand the history of the game, understand your buddies, the names that are associated with this beautiful game of baseball. So be a student of the game. Be curious in everything that you do, guys. Next up, time management. I told you I was going to hit on this earlier in the video. Time management is important. So balance your time effectively between practice, games, rest, and your personal life. And this will be essential for high school players trying to play D1 baseball. The baseball program in college is demanding. There's no question about that. It's going to be very demanding of your time. You need to be able to manage your time to be able to get the studying in, the extra work on top of team practices and gym sessions and all of that, guys. So next up, be humble, all right? Acknowledge your strengths, but always seek improvement, all right? Never as good as they say you are, and you're never as bad as they say you are, all right? That's a quote that pro baseball players use because the media will sometimes eat away at your confidence, and that's never fun, all right? Next up, setting goals. Having clear, measurable goals for both short-term and long-term success, guys. And SMART goals are something that I teach inside my academy, which means make sure your goals are specific, make sure that they're measurable, make sure that they're attainable, make sure they're relevant, and make sure that they're time-bound. If you want pro-level resources like this, plus many more, head over to MendozaBaseballAcademy.com to apply to work with me today. Next up, guys, stay adaptable. Baseball is quite literally the game of how quickly you can adapt from pitch to pitch. The best players adapt pitch by pitch, but not everyone adapts pitch by pitch. Some players take a couple of innings because they hold on to at-bats. Guys, we all know that one player who strikes out and has terrible body language when they're on defense. They're carrying the luggage of that previous at-bat, and that is never good. Be ready to adjust to new situations, whether it's a different role or unexpected challenges, guys. View it as an opportunity rather than like a demotion, right? For example, guys, when I was with the St. Louis Cardinals, I went from being a just about everyday third baseman to a first baseman. Random time. This was in spring training one year. I think it was like 2019, and I had no clue why the Cardinals were trying to make me into a first baseman, right? I wasn't a first baseman. I knew I could play first base if I really wanted to, and I didn't understand the bigger picture at hand. Well, that bigger picture, guys, in the moment, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a human. I viewed it as a demotion, but I didn't see that bigger picture, which was they wanted me to get at bats in front of the big league coaching staff at first base. It was an opening. I think the backup to Paul Goldschmidt got hurt in the middle of spring training, so they needed an extra first baseman to back up Paul Goldschmidt. I was that guy. And I was able to play over like 25 spring training games, backing up Goldie just about every single day, getting 1 or 2 at-bats every single day off of the bench in front of the big league coaching staff. Huge opportunity to make a dent, make a name for myself, and get my name out there. Just like a lot of you high school baseball players are trying to get your name out to college coaches, it's the same exact story, rewritten multiple times in your career. I wanted to get my name out to these big league coaches, showcase what I was able to do. I had an unbelievable spring training that spring. Also made a couple of highlight plays on defense, and then also some great hits. I think that was the spring training that I was able to get a hit off of Max Scherzer. So that was a pretty memorable spring training for sure. Next up, guys, be a pro. Your reputation matters, and doing the right things the right way and treating people with respect is huge. Next up, making sure that we're taking care of our nutrition, fueling our body properly, and what you eat impacts your performance, guys. The mix between the rest and the recovery mixed with the nutrition is something that a lot of people overlook, and the combination of both can make huge differences even though they seem like small little changes, all right? So give your body the rest it needs to perform at its best. Use tech when available, obviously, to measure this. Whoop is something that the St. Louis Cardinals and the San Diego Padres wanted us to wear just to keep track of how we were sleeping, how hard our days were as far as like how much stress we were going through. And stress isn't necessarily like the mental health type of stress. It's more of like physical stress. Same thing like working out, running, that all is stress technically. So embrace failure. We already kind of went over this a little bit, but learn from the mistakes and also the setbacks. Every strikeout is quite literally the next at-bat closer to your home run, guys. And this is a very, very important mindset. This is something that I like to teach inside my academy and stuff like that. But understanding that just because you have one at-bat doesn't mean that you're going to have a million at-bats one after another, all right? So next up, your work ethic. This is very, very important. It probably shouldn't have been number 20, but hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. It will never be easy. And because it's never going to be easy, make sure that we have a positive attitude. Stay optimistic and encourage your teammates. And this can be contagious. Prepare mentally, all right? So because we are going ahead and we have that positive attitude, now we want to prepare mentally, all right? So the mental preparation is just as important as the physical training. UVA, for example. So when I played at NC State, I will never forget when we played University of Virginia in Charlottesville, Virginia. All the starting lineup went out to the left field line. They grabbed their bat. They grabbed their helmets too, which I thought was funny. And they all just took some space out in the left field, in the outfield. And they put their bat on their shoulder and they just closed their eyes for a solid like 5 to 10 minutes. And if you guys don't know, UVA is known to, really buy in to the mental side of the game, because it is very important to understand how we can deal with the mental struggles that come with baseball. If we don't know how to manage them properly, then that's when baseball can start to eat away at the fun, the joy, and the passion that you have to play this beautiful game. So making sure that we're visualizing all of our success before the game, this is something that's huge, and it's very, very important to train that visualization and the mental side of the game. So make sure that we're staying grounded, all right? Stay true to yourself and always remember your roots, guys. Don't forget where you guys came from. Remember, you were that young little, boy that played Little League, maybe even T-ball. Remember what it felt like, and remember that passion and that joy. Next up, guys, don't be afraid to network, all right? Networking is huge. It can help build relationships with coaches, players, and even mentors, and this can provide support and opportunities when you never thought it could happen, all right? Being accountable, again, this is a very, very important one, probably slid on the list way too high, but again, either way, very, very important to be accountable. Take responsibilities for your actions and decisions, both good and bad. Having that extreme ownership is something that, if you guys don't know, there is a book out there, I believe, that is named Extreme Ownership. The idea of it is Navy SEALs, which I've had the great opportunity to learn from, because those ex-Navy SEALs were also mental strength coaches when I was with the Cardinals and Padres. And learning from them and learning about the ownership it takes, guys, that entire book talks about the ownership that you need to have to be on a SEALs team. Doesn't matter if it's even your fault. The captain is always in charge. The captain is always taking that ownership, whether or not it's actually his fault. All right, so if you're part of a team, and let's say it's a cutoff and relay, and maybe you're the shortstop and you get the transfer from the outfield and you need to throw it home, and let's say the outfielder just bobbled it just slightly, all right, just slightly, and you're trying to throw out that runner at home, and you throw a perfect dart, but the throw was maybe a little bit too high, and the base runner slid in and was safe. You as the shortstop need to tell yourself, I could have made a better throw and I could have thrown that guy out. Don't push it off or pawn it off to the outfielder bobbling the ball, taking more time to get to you. Take ownership that you could have done something better. And this is something that I've taken throughout my entire professional career, is always taking the ownership and always putting the blame on me. I'm okay. I can deal with it. That is okay with me. Don't ever pawn it off on someone else. Pointing fingers never looks good. It doesn't look professional. So make sure you have that extreme ownership. Guys, it's also important to celebrate your wins, all right? So acknowledge your achievements. Make sure that you are living them up and having fun. Only 2 more. So number 27, make sure to have a balanced life, guys. Maintain a healthy balance between your career and your personal life. And this is something that not a lot of people love to talk about, because this is kind of like a debate, right? Either you're 1,000,000% into baseball and you can't do anything else, or you're the complete opposite where you're like, I want to have that balance. I want to be able to live a normal life and play baseball at a high level. So especially in pro ball, where it truly does become a job, make sure that you do have that balance. So last but not least, probably one of the most important that I've learned throughout my professional career is to make sure to give back. It's quite literally the reason why I'm here today. But support your community and help the next generation of baseball players, whether that's like Miracle League. I've done many different Miracle Leagues throughout my professional baseball career, college career, high school career even. This is a way to show back or give back to that community, whether it's where your team is located or maybe even where you are located and where you are from. You could also do camps and lessons. This is something that I've done throughout really my entire 7-year pro baseball career, is doing some organized camps around the holidays, doing some one-on-one lessons, and I've definitely had a ton of fun doing those. The Mendoza Baseball Academy has been a lot more fun though, because I'm able to reach so many more people. Or you can join an online academy or work with like an online academy like Mendoza Baseball Academy. So this is just the tip of the iceberg of what I teach my students inside my academy about. So if you're a varsity high school baseball player aiming for a D1 scholarship here in the near future, let me help you prepare you by getting you on the right path. All right, so inside my program, I only work with high school baseball players who are dedicated, driven, and have the desire to play in college. So if you're already playing varsity baseball, you have what it takes to play at the next level, and you already work out a ton, you're investing in yourself, but you feel stuck in your development. Maybe because you lack a great coach in your area with great experience like me. Maybe you need guidance in the recruiting process, or simply you just need that program you can trust. If that sounds like you, I'd love to go over where you're currently at in your high school baseball journey and ultimately how I can help you out. My triple play of physical development, mental development, and recruiting guidance will have you on a path to a D1 scholarship. So if you're interested in working one-on-one with me inside my academy, you can scan this QR code to my right, or you can just head over to MendozaBaseballAcademy.com and apply to work with me. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll be able to click the link down below in the description and it will take you there. If you're listening to this on podcast, The Angle, just head over to my website, MendozaBaseballAcademy.com, to apply. If you or your player is not in high school yet, just keep watching all my content, guys. Keep supporting all my channels. But if you are a serious high school baseball player looking to play in college, make sure to apply to get a better idea of how I can help you.